Welcome Aquarius to your in-depth monthly horoscope for February 2024 for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you a brief flavour of what to expect, but please stay with me. I will explore in much greater depth all the ins and outs, particularly relevant to your sign. Now, of course, last month was momentous. The Sun on the 20th and then Pluto on the 21st merging in Aquarius. But actually, as you start this month, there's still a cluster of energy locked into your 12th house, which is much more psychological. But the big takeout is the 9th. There's the new moon in your sign, and that gives you a lot of extra impetus. But it is in a tense right angle to your modern ruler of Uranus. So I need to unpick that for you too. But there's loads of really exciting, thrilling stuff to tell you about. Please stay with me for more. You can ascend above this zodiac broadcast and understand the power of more serious astrology. If you give me 3 pieces of your personal birth data, of time, date and place, or date and place if you don't know your time, I can produce for you your life roadmap report, your character analysis. This is the foundation for all of our interactions in our lives. We're not totally ruled by it. We can work with it and evolve, but understanding it gives us so many insights to the patterns that have played out in our life so far. Also, you can get your 12-month forecast based on the moving planets in the sky and how they interact with your unique blueprint. Also, if you order with the link below now, you can get 30% off, but you also get my Zodiac Love Chinese and Indian Year 2024 booklets, totally free of charge. Please see the link below for more. So Aquarius, as you come into this new month, there could be a feeling that there are some loose ends to clear up still, or that you're not quite in the present quite as much as you would like. Perhaps it is to do with past associations, relationships. This is the month of Valentine's Day, of course, the 14th. But because Venus and Mars are in your 12th house as the month begins, that's why you could be feeling nostalgia. So as much as the Sun and Pluto may be pushing you to show just what you are made of when it comes to your individuality, there is a more subtle psychological dimension that you just need to be aware of. But on the 5th, you have a great opportunity to start to supercharge this month. The Sun in your sign forges a beautiful link to Chiron. Chiron is very much to do with our self-worth and our value, but also where we can shine, but where we feel we don't get much back from other people. So Chiron, along with the North Node, is in your 3rd house, the sign of Aries. If you feel you haven't had the ear of neighbours, siblings, your community in general, or even if you're someone who creates content online, you're not quite reaching your potential, this is a really good aspect because your voice can get heard more effectively. But the 5th really brings you into the present. Mercury in the 12th house is a tricky influence. It can see us feeling a bit detached from others, a bit cut off, a bit isolated. We can feel that people are not being in touch with us, but guess what? They can feel that we're not being in touch with them. But Mercury moving into your own sign and immediately combining with the power of Pluto cannot be underestimated. When these two are together, the great thing they bring is passionate analysis, because the transformational passionate energies of Pluto are combining with the precision and detailing that comes from Mercury's rulership of Virgo. Now, there's an added plus for you and me, is that Mercury is exalted in the sign of Aquarius. So it loves being here. It particularly loves being, of course, in the 2nd decan, but initially, straight away, it's with Pluto. So Mercury combining with Pluto gives you an opportunity to really get clear about something that's very important to you as an individual. And if you have been a bit worrisome or something's felt like it's been meandering along and not really gaining momentum, suddenly you can feel a real sense of excitement. If you need to find your voice, this is certainly the time. But also on the 9th, as I mentioned, we have the new moon. New moons in our own sign is a great chance to revitalize our persona. So if you're someone who's a dedicated follower of fashion, the chances are you're going to want to upgrade, improve, adapt your look, your wardrobe. And you could try some quite novel approaches, not because you're an Aquarius, but because your modern ruler of Uranus is in a right angle. But if you want to try something in your life that's very individualistic, you need to be mindful of how will that affect your sense of stability and security, because those new beginnings that new moons can bring can often see us very single-minded. Nothing wrong with that, but because Uranus is in the right angle, it could mean that if something feels so exciting to you that you're diving into it in an almost very instant and perhaps even compulsive and impulsive way, then that can set the skittles aside when it comes to your home life, continuity and stability. So Uranus is in a square, so just be aware of not doing anything too quickly and too recklessly if it is really going to break the mold. However, on the 13th, one of the most exciting aspects for many a moon for Aquarius people, because Mars aligns with Pluto. But of course, these are the two rulers of Scorpio, and they are very determined in their coupling. Mars can be about desire. In the first house, it has its more Aries energy of being very direct, having an instinct and following that instinct. So putting something into action quickly and directly. I refer to my earlier point about the new moon. If you go a bit too quick, it could have some destabilizing strands. But it may be difficult to resist because Pluto combining with Mars is going to give your sex appeal an incredible aura. And if there is someone, for example, that you're strongly drawn towards, the fact that Valentine's Day is the next day may see you decide to take a walk on the wild side and ask that person out. Now, if you're someone who's a little bit shy or reserved, not really too much used to making the first move, this could take a lot of courage. But this set of influences could see it pay off. I can't guarantee it, but sometimes in life we have to try something in order to get a return. If we stay safe because we're protecting our vulnerabilities, we don't make progress. So there's a lot of push here to really be true to your authentic self and brace yourself that if not everyone gets it. Because really what Pluto's been teaching you and I over the last 16 years is that it doesn't matter so much what other people think, even if at times it's felt very painful when they've made it clear what they don't like. So all that energy and experience has really taught you and I that actually we may as well just be ourselves. So with Mars and Pluto combining with Valentine's Day, Venus moving on the 16th to join up with them both, Venus and Mars in a absolutely dazzling combination for the last 2 weeks of this month. If ever there was a time that you could be more daring and show endeavour, be enterprising, be creative, really go for it, because remember, the sign of Aquarius has a reputation of being an innovator, but the truth is that it is a tension between maybe trying some things different but staying very strongly with what's familiar. And that tension at times can pulverize the passion that Uranus can bring. So passion's not going to be in any way lacking this month. And if there is someone therefore you really fancy, maybe it's your turn to take the initiative. But maybe it's not around your love life. Maybe it's around an idea you've got, a business you'd like to start. Maybe it's about getting physically more active and fitter. Maybe it's about being more outspoken about your unique view of life. It is true from the 16th to the 18th, Mercury in Aquarius is in a very a very highly strung right angle with Uranus. It could be somebody close to you who really isn't liking this extra self-belief that you're showing, and maybe feels that you're being perhaps all the way to being a little bit arrogant. But you know, sometimes if we really want something that's really important to us, we do have to be single-minded and we have to make sacrifices. But this is a beginning of a new dawn for you. You've had so much preparation of having your sense of self eroded in a subtle way where people haven't necessarily come out and said exactly how they feel, but it's all been done by innuendo or feeling closed out, excluded. You've just got to take the tiller in your hand and just think, this is me. I've got one life. If some people don't get it, yes, that might be difficult to swallow in some ways, but I'm really going to galvanize myself into action, whether it's the way you dress, the music you listen to, the interests you have, the people that you're going to get to know. This is a time to go, go, go. That brings us to the 19th. The Sun switches to Pisces, followed by Mercury on the 23rd. But we also have a full moon on the 24th in the sign of Virgo, very much about precision, but also about things working efficiently. And really, that for you should be your longer term finances, the 8th house, shared finances, but also where you feel most invested. The 2nd house on the other side of the heavens, where the Sun and Mercury meet with Saturn, your traditional ruler, as this month comes to a close, suggests you're going to get some early evidence that if your flair, creativity and charisma have been showcased properly earlier in the month, you may get some kind of solid prize. Of course, the other thing you could get, because of Saturn applying to the Sun and Mercury, is a quick reminder that maybe life isn't a perfect process. Not everybody's going to get the fact that you maybe are going to be more individualistic, and things could get cool, and maybe you're going to sense that people are not going to accept this new way that you're being. This is the first challenge, the first test. But if you think back to March the 7th last year, Saturn has been really turning the screws a little bit about self-worth and about money. So really what the planets are saying this month is you're making a transition from the thoughtful place you've been for a lot of the last 15 or 16 years. You're coming into the present. You're almost going to be like a bit of a toddler, that you don't quite know your boundaries because you've got so much energy and so much power. And then there could be some restraint and some things that are pushed back a little bit later in the month. But that doesn't mean to say you shouldn't stop embracing the energy of Pluto, the excitement it can create. But it is about trying to get in touch with the type of life you really want and transforming how your life was before into the life you really want. And it's not going to come without risks, and not everyone's going to get it. So it's going to be interesting for us both to find out just how censorious that Saturn influence will be at the end of this month, as February comes to a close with its extra day of the 29th.